Welcome into the Casual Gaming Conversation. I'm Connor. That's Nick. This is your weekly gaming podcast from Co-op 64. Today, we're talking Saros, the newest game from PlayStation Studios and Housemarque. But before we get into that, Nick, how are you feeling?
Tired. You and I both sort of last minute decided to okay, we're in a spot where we can beat this game in time for review.
When we left yesterday from shooting TikToks, we both agreed we're not going to do this for the topic for the main podcast. We'll push it to bonus pod. And then by the time I finished my PlayStation yesterday, I was like, I think we're going to finish this. I think we can do this. But it was still kind of a race against the clock.
There was a great moment. Connor texted me and he's like, hey, I think we should do this. Where are you at in the game? And I was two bosses behind him, or boss and a half behind him. And he's like, do you think you're going to be able to finish it? And I go, I'm going to try my best. Because this was such a question of you don't know if you're going to hit a roadblock.
You were the one who was pushing hard to do this review today. I was like, I think it's fine to push it to Thursday, give us a little bit more time to get through this. And then I just ended up sitting there playing 12 hours of Saros yesterday. Even without that deadline looming, I was just so locked in that I was like, fuck it, let's do it.
Yeah, and then for me, I went, and the big shift was I took a nap yesterday that I was like, oh, we're chilling. We just need to text back and forth on what the topic's going to be, and we'll figure it out. It's going to be fun, as always. And then surely enough, Connor's like, let's do Saros. And I was like, okay. But I'm very curious to see how long it took you to beat and all that fun stuff. For me, I'll start out with I'm pretty good at this game. And you're gonna be
clearly not.
You're gonna be clearly not.
We were supposed to shoot this at 2 o'clock today. It is currently 5:30.
But then again, you also did say you're last section takes about 30 minutes, and so I slept in a little bit and everything.
That's what somebody else told me, and that's how long it takes if you beat it on the first try.
Yes. And it did not take me that long. It took me a lot longer. It was by far the longest section of the game for me. Was the last boss.
2 hours probably.
Yeah, it took me probably four and some change. But yeah, no, I'm excited to hop in on this conversation and just get it going, because there's so much to talk about here, and it's so infrequent where we're doing a PlayStation exclusive major pot. We do 2 of these a year, and so talking about Housemarque, and it's also fun to think about.
We just did this, Nick, with Marathon, though.
Yeah, no one cares about Marathon. Well, you do that every podcast with Marathon.
Yeah, I'm saying it's a PlayStation first-party big release.
That is true. But going in, doing it where it's a narrative-focused game and all the stuff that comes along with something like this is very, very interesting. Especially, I did go back to us reacting to this reveal and be like, now we're fucking talking about it. It's funny to do the channel long enough where it's now here.
I feel like PlayStation does a good job from announcements to release, not having it be way too long like they used to.
Year and some change. This is what it's all about, in my opinion, where I think that you want to build a hype cycle properly. You reveal it, gameplay in 6 months, about 6 months after that it's released. Great. I think that is the right cadence, and it is going to be interesting to talk about where Housemarque is after this game and all that stuff, because they are establishing themselves as a big dog, in my opinion, and we're going to break it down.
Been a big dog, dude. Housemarque simply does not miss. They haven't missed since the PS3 generation.
Yeah, and it's been awesome. And I do think that here's your tease before we get into housekeeping. This was a treat to play. And I think that's the correct terminology of it more than anything else. It was a treat. We beat this in 5 days, dude. I'm not going to say until we get into the actual review on how long it took to beat. Going into yesterday, I was at 6 and a half hours of playing. It was not a lot, and I'll tell you where we ended up. But it's been a very fun late night last night, early morning this morning, having some fun. But yeah, man, I'm exhausted. I got a little hangry towards the end of my playtime, where I was like, man, I want to beat this game, and I want to eat lunch, and lunch happened at 4 o'clock. And so it is what it is. But no, I'm happy to be here. It's going to be a late night of editing tonight afterwards, because we got all the issues that happened on the previous TikTok shoot with audio. So that's going to be super, super fun. And then Outer Wilds tomorrow morning. Dude, let's fucking go, man. Excited to finally, this week, beat that game. It's going to be pretty fun.
Yeah, right on. I'm doing fine. This has been my entire life for the last few days, so I don't really have anything else to report on. It's just been Saros 24/7. I did squeeze in a few marathon runs, but other than that, I've just been grinding the game.
Such large kudos to you, because I mean, for me, this has been the thing. You've also had a couple marathon runs in there. I can't believe that you were able to get this amount of game time in, but you were good to go, man.
Yeah, I finished it this morning, then did the true ending a few hours later.
Yep.
Squeezed in some marathon runs in between those two. Had to get my last minute cryo fix in. Went in with Blimpy and somebody new to cryo, Brutalk, and we showed him the ropes, and that was a lot of fun. But I've been able to marinate on my thoughts on this game for a few hours. You're fresh off. You just finished this game.
I finished it, and Connor knows this. Like, he was texting me about like the podcast. I'm in the drive-thru at Cane's, literally just being like, okay, this is my score. This is what I'm going through all my thoughts about like why I am going to score this game the way I am.
Yeah. Another little peek behind the curtain. I do that so much. I sit in the car and I run through what I'm gonna say, the ideas that I want to convey to the audience. Yep. I probably look like a crazy person if you pull up beside me at the stoplight. I'm just yapping to myself.
It's really funny. I've actually, for games that have not released yet, been like, okay, like, if this comes out this way, like how would we even get to that score? And I'll like talk through, like, just practicing all this stuff. It's insane too. I've gone back recently, and as Summer Game Fest season is kicking up, and I'm going back to these older showcases and everything for obviously like State of Play. I'm gonna rank every State of Play at some point this year, but like also just checking out like previous Summer Game Fest. Now 'tis the season to get in the mood. I'm like, man, like not only were we kids, like we've got a lot better at this, man, just by like a country mile.
You would
it's
think
crazy.
It would be really easy to just talk into a microphone, but there's like steps that you can take and improvements that you can make along the way that get you from being good, decent at this to being great at it. I still don't think I'm great at this, but I think I'm constantly getting a little bit better.
I was about to say, I think that I will always put us in the boat of like, I don't feel like a professional ever doing this, but I'm definitely better than where I was in 2023. And in 2023 was definitely better than where I was in 2020. Like, you know, like just constantly making content. You're going to iron out some of the issues that you had previously and be able to go and be like, okay, like this is now what we're doing and how I want to speak and convey certain aspects. Like, I'm so curious. That it's something I will do. Maybe this week. It's just gonna be a very busy week, but maybe this week let's go back to the Spider-Man review. I want to see like what does the 2023 PlayStation
so bad
review look like. The audio quality definitely wasn't as good, or the camera quality. But yeah, man, I'm pretty stoked to just like hop into this week. We have a legitimately like crazy week coming up, so hop into the house.
So let's get it going. This show is made possible by all our lovely supporters over on Patreon. You can get this show 3 days early. You can get the Casual Gaming News Conversation 3 days early, and you get bonus episodes of the Casual Gaming Conversation each and every week. We just did a Zombies Maps tier listing the games for World at War through BO3, the Zombies maps in those games, and that was a ton of fun going down memory lane and talking about something that Nick and I both love very, very dearly.
Connor's begging for me to get the Zombies on the calendar, and it's going to happen. I'm sorry, Brady.
I want it. Then at the next tier up, you get Recollecting Retro, you get the Co-op 64 podcast, and you get the opportunity to write in to be a part of the podcasts for both CGC and CGNC. At the highest tier, you get your name right at the end of each and every podcast, and you get the opportunity to be the fourth topic on the Co-op 64 podcast. Twitch, Nick and Brady are sitting down to get Brady's first impressions of Saros, the new hotness, which we're talking about today. But we want to hear what Brady thinks, and we want to see how bad he is at this game. So tune in on Monday for that.
Does he beat the first boss?
Yeah.
I doubt it.
Okay. I'm not going to be there for these new releases. We like to only have two people on the streams, and Saros specifically really needs a lot of attention. So if Nick and I were both there, we would both be yapping, talking to the chat, and distracting Brady. It's not conducive for something you have to really lock in on like Saros. So Nick's taken the passenger seat with Brady for that one. Tuesday and Thursday, Nick is continuing on with God of War 2018, doing a replay of that, going after the Valkyries. And on Wednesday, I'm starting up The Last of Us Part 2 on Grounded mode, the hardest difficulty in the game, unless you include permadeath, which I think is just like a different modifier. I wouldn't count that, but I'm doing Grounded mode for the first time. I did Grounded mode on The Last of Us Part 1 a few years ago, had an absolute blast. Very excited to hop back into this fucking gameplay, man. I love The Last of Us gameplay, both in The Last of Us 1 and 2. Any excuse I can get to go back to these masterpieces, I'm going to take it. So go on the journey with me. I'm almost certainly going to cry along the way at some point. There's one scene that gets me every time. I was talking to Blimpy and Lee about it. I was like, just talking about this scene makes me cry most of the time too. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And then in the morning, Monday to what?
Wednesday is the plan as of right now. So real quick, 9 to 11 a.m. Eastern, Outer Wilds in the morning. We don't know how long it's going to take streaming wise. I can beat this game technically next stream. But for now, we're going to set Monday to Wednesday, 9 to 11 Eastern, and if I beat it early, then the streams won't happen, and if I don't beat it early, then we will have a stream on Thursday also. So nice. Just be up to date in the Discord and for those updates.
And due to your support over on Patreon, we're going to keep the in the morning fun going. It's going to be probably about a month until we start up Disco Elysium, but keep that on your radar. It's happening. Thank you so much for the support over on Patreon.
I'm currently asking Brady if we hit in this. We'll see if we get a text back. If we hit 600 patrons by the end of June, do you want to run back to 999? So we'll see if we get a text back for this podcast.
He's going to say, just set the bar for one more sub than what we have right now. And
exactly. He's going to be like, how much we got? 550? Let's do 551. All right.
And then on Friday, we're doing a special one-off stream, a game that takes about 2 hours, a game that is one of my favorite games of all time, an underrated gem, Guitar Man on the PlayStation 2. We're going to blaze through that. Nick loves rhythm games. This is my personal favorite rhythm game alongside like Rock Band and DDR and stuff like that. But it's going to be a blast. Come tune in. That will be Friday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Discord, we have a Discord community of over 3,000 community members talking about games, movies, music, whatever. And that's where you can participate with the community and do community nights. You can write in for fan-submitted topics and such, like grading your top 5 games. So a lot of fun over in the Discord. Merch, we have t-shirts, hoodies, and mugs if you want to support the channel that way. And leave us nice reviews over on Apple Podcast services. It gets the show to more people, and we'd really appreciate that.
Also, on May 16th, we have a panel at Super Cincy Expo. Me, Connor Brady, and Charles Hart.
That's so soon.
Are all hanging out, talking about what it means to like be in the games industry in 2026, how we got started, all that fun stuff. Which it's gonna be so interesting because like I don't know what degree Charles has, but I would assume it could be a journalism degree, and like he's gone through all the proper channels and all this stuff. And then us, we're just like, we're just here, so we don't get fined. I have a minor
in journalism.
You do? Yeah, that is true. That's a good point. But once again, like, I think that it's very, very funny. Like, Game Informer, so proper, one of the biggest names in gaming when it comes to
chuckleheads.
and all three of us are pulling up. It's really funny. Like, I hit up the boys when we got this opportunity. I'm like, hey, like, I can go, Connor, you can go yourself, or like, do we want to send multiple people? And we're like, yeah, let's just do all three. So it's gonna be very, very funny being like, Charles, we're gonna try to give him 50% of that time, okay? Because all three of us do not need 75%.
It's gonna be nice to actually spend a little bit of time with Charles. I only like shook his hand, and actually, if you and Brady hung out with him for like a whole night.
Yeah, we talked to him for like, you know how it goes at these events. Like, it's like a long conversation, maybe 20 minutes, you know, like, but no, we had a great time talking to him. And he's pretty local to us, so it was great. And I can't wait to see him again, hang out. And then funny enough, like, we see him, and then like 3 weeks later, we're gonna probably see him back in LA.
And I'm gonna have to set aside a little bit of cash because we're going to Super Cincy. There's a bunch of vendors. Just got my Xbox 360 in. Very excited about that. Lord of the Rings Conquest, a new pickup for that console. I just ordered Rockstar Table Tennis. Guess how much that runs you on eBay?
$19.99.
$8.
Oh,
yeah, it became 15 with shipping, but yeah,
that's what I'm going to challenge you in the belt if you ever were to win again, which you won't because you suck.
It's always very exciting to get a new console and have a new library to pull from for collecting. There isn't that many Xbox 360 games that are exclusive to the platform that I really want that I can't play somewhere else. Lost Odyssey, Blue Dragon. You can play Rockstar Table Tennis on the Wii, but you don't want to do that. It's made for the 360. So yeah, I'm excited to go to Super Cincy and see what I can find. All right, let's get into the show proper. I have a hot take today. Nick does not, but let's dive into this one, I guess. I want to start this off by saying I don't even know if I really believe this, but I'm going to say it anyways.
Okay, that's the best type of hot take.
Because it goes back and forth. But my gaming hot take is that I prefer diving into the backlog than playing the new hotness. Whenever I get the opportunity to have a window where I can just play retro stuff, play something that I want to cross off the list, dive back into a indie darling that maybe didn't get the credit it was deserving of or the audience that it was deserving of, I like that more than playing the game that's in the zeitgeist that everybody's talking about, the games that people feel FOMO about, and you feel like you need to play that new game to be a part of the conversation. And it feeds into the idea that like we do this partially for a living, and it's our job to cover new games. But even without that, before I did this and was making content out of games, I still felt that. And I think a lot of people feel that way, that people are talking about Saros, you got to hop into Saros. Everybody's talking about Crimson Desert, you got to hop into Crimson Desert. And it's difficult to go back into the backlog and play some other more niche titles. And I just like the freeing feeling of just being able to play whatever the hell I want, go get trophies in Sly Cooper 2 on the PlayStation Vita and really sink into that, go play a big beefy JRPG and not feel bad about not playing the game that everybody's talking about right now. If they never made a new game again for the rest of history, I think I would be a happier person, a happier gamer. And that's my hot take.
I hate this so much. This is the anti-Nick Evans take.
And don't get me wrong, I love new releases.
I know.
We're going to talk about Saros, and I had an absolute blast.
Yeah.
But now that Saros is done, and the next major release for me is 007, and I have like about a month until that, like it's like, oh, I'm about to feast. What am I going to play?
Connor's thinking that, and literally I'm like, okay, so I have 3 days to, like, obviously I'm on stream literally like every fucking day this week, it seems. So like my gaming outside of new releases will be well handled by the amount of streaming. Like I think I'm streaming for like 20-ish hours or something. With that being said, I'm like, cool. Like that's my backlog time. Can't wait for mixtape on Thursday. Can't wait for Forza in a couple weeks. Can't wait for 007 in about a month. Like that is like why I like get out of bed in the morning. It's like, what's the new hotness? Let's have the conversation.
But do you not get out of bed to talk about Chrono Trigger? You know?
Yeah, well, 100%. Like I like going into the backlog, and but my enjoyment of going into the backlog often comes from wanting to understand the industry better. Like even more so than just like this game's unbelievable. I love playing the unbelievable game, but like Connor knows this very, very well, and I've said this many times, and maybe I haven't said it in a while. I think I might like talking about video games more than I like playing video games. Like I love what we do and create content out of, but also like
I do not feel that way.
Yeah, 100%.
I like playing games more than talking about video games, though I do enjoy talking about video games a whole lot.
Exactly, but like going, even if it wasn't content though, like I just always enjoyed the conversation around this stuff. I love listening to podcasts. I love like even when we're reviewing a game or something, like I love texting you. Like I love that part of the process a lot. You know,
that is fun.
And so going and doing something like this that is so content heavy, and I get so much enjoyment out of this. Like we're 17 minutes into this podcast, I'm like, let's talk about Saros. You know, like I want to go and get this conversation rolling because that's what it's all about for me. But like, don't get me wrong, love playing Saros, love playing Red Dead Redemption 2 on stream last year, love playing God of War right now. Like a lot of these games that Chrono Trigger, like love playing the games, but like, yeah, what's the next game? Like what's up next? And this is how I also run my life, is literally like Connor knows this. I'm like, okay, like January, that's lineup season, baby. That's when we learn all the music festival lineups. Okay, now we're looking ahead of the music festivals. Now we're looking ahead to the NFL season. Now we're looking ahead to the game awards. Now we're like, I like looking ahead to the next fun thing, experiencing the fun thing. Don't get me wrong, I love to smell the roses. When I'm there, I will make sure to go and capture the moment. I'm not somebody that likes to have their phone out or take a lot of photos when I'm at certain things. I like to go and embrace the experience, but there's always the next thing. Connor, there's always door number 2. So yeah, I hate
what
this.
Is that a reference to?
That isn't no reference to anything.
Saying?
Yeah,
I don't think I've ever heard that before.
I think that I was about to say new is always better, which is How I Met Your Mother. Yeah. But then I was like, I don't even know if that necessarily like it comes to mind here because new isn't always better. I don't want to go with that, so I'm going to go with there's always door number 2.
I also think you have so much history and discourse to pull from to guide you to something that you are probably going to like. And I think that's makes it so playing old stuff usually results in playing something really great. I feel like if I'm just trying to cover the new games, there's a chance that I'm going to play something that I don't like or something that's a little bit lesser or just doesn't resonate with me. Whereas going into the backlog and being able to play retro stuff, I feel like I'm playing more high quality games on a per capita basis.
Yeah. Real quick, I don't know if you realize this, but last year we did our SGF predictions and Xbox predictions on this podcast. Like we did the full like lengthy long shot and everything. We're coming up on these things right now. I'm looking at our calendar. I'm like, holy shit, man! Like we're supposed to talk about state of play predictions on this podcast in 2 weeks.
Damn.
Fucking hell, right?
Yeah. Like, we're not going to do that on CGNC.
normally we do for the Summer Game Fest stuff, we do it here because we know it's going to happen basically. And then CGNC is, if it gets announced like right then we do the where's your headband, all that stuff.
We got freaking bamboozled. We got tricked by rumors for the last State of Play.
Yeah, well, once again, this shit runs on a cycle at this point. We know when every State of Play is going to be.
Yeah.
Everyone February, June/May, and September. That's it.
Yeah.
Move on. Maybe you get the June 31st every now and then. January 31st.
January Dev Direct.
Yep.
June for Showcase for Xbox, and then maybe some partner showcases.
Nintendo's a little weird nowadays.
Yeah, they're
but normally their structure,
weird about everything.
normally their structure is February, June, and September. That's normally their cycle. Do you remember back when I was in college, the days where we would get both the State of Play and the Nintendo on the same fucking day?
Yeah, that shit ripped.
That was so awesome. Bring it back.
I feel like it could happen. I don't think they're avoiding each other on purpose.
No, they don't. They 100%.
It just happens to line up that way sometimes.
And the nice part is Nintendo goes in the morning always, and they go in the afternoon for PlayStation.
Yeah, thank you, PlayStation, for always being at like 5 p.m.
Yeah.
So I can get over here and not leave work.
Exactly. Do you? Once again, this is all about tangents, I guess. At this point, do you remember the time that like I literally like shut my work laptop and then we flipped over to the main camera and there was like 1 minute left for a State of Play? I finished work. This was I know the State of Play. It was in January of 2024.
Okay.
But it was the State of Play started at like right when my workday ended, and I literally was like, send the email, close it, cool, we're fucking going. Like
I do remember that.
It was madness. Oh man. But yeah, no. And then Nintendo Directs, man. We're gonna get one this summer, are we? Probably.
Yeah,
I hope
100%.
So.
Yeah. When do we see Star Fox? Nathan Haight getting a lot of flack right now because he said it was going to be revealed in May.
He was wrong. He should get flack when he's wrong, and he should get praised when he's correct.
Yeah, things can change behind the scenes, and that's what he said.
But that's just the job of the leaker, though. But I also do think, though, like
people are saying they don't think it's even real at this point, though. Which I think it is.
I think it is too. The other aspect of this that I want to go down, though, is like, what if now we can, if you're Nintendo, you can be like, well, it was all fake. And it's like, it's definitely not all fake. But like, I do think that there's now more anticipation for this next Nintendo Direct where it's like, we don't know because we don't know.
Yeah.
If
next one we see the Ocarina remake, probably.
We should. But what if that doesn't exist? Like, what if this whole thing was just bullshit? And the leak that everyone got was from the same source, and they were like, yeah, I got corroborated, but like we don't know if that source was correct. So
interesting.
Very interesting.
If not Ocarina and everything's on the table, I really hope it's Mario.
Yeah.
In the fall.
We're going to see something big this year.
Yeah, for sure. They have to have something bigger than Fire Emblem.
I agree.
And I would prefer to see Mario than an Ocarina remake.
Same.
Sure.
Way more. All right, Connor, you want to hop in?
Let's talk some Saros, the new game from Housemarque, a studio that I love dearly, that I've been playing their games. It's back on the PS3, the PS Vita. Housemarque owned my PS Vita between Resogun, Dead Nation, Super Stardust HD. These games feel amazing, and they are highly, highly addictive, and that is the case for Saros and Returnal to some extent as well. They just know how to make a game feel fucking good. They got bought by PlayStation Studios a few years ago after the release of Returnal. Seemed like they took the next step into AAA with that title. They made like arcadey, kind of AA games, maybe
100%.
Kind of maybe closer to indie, possibly, but man, Saros, their newest release, highly anticipated for me as somebody who fell off of Returnal, and they were saying all the right things. Permanent progression system. You don't have to go through the previous areas to progress in the area you currently are in, which I really appreciated. So was very excited about this, and my expectations were met wholeheartedly. I'm giving this one a 9 out of 10. I think this is a phenomenal video game. As we alluded to earlier, I spent 12 hours playing this game yesterday on accident. I went through 7 sparkling waters at that time. I didn't eat dinner until 10 p.m. because I was so locked the fuck in. And it felt like an hour went by, but 12 had. It was engrossing. It's intoxicating when you're on the sticks and firing these guns and putting your shield up and dashing out of the way and taking on these really tough bosses. It is a euphoric feeling to come out on top and progress in Saros. Visually, this game is phenomenal, specifically when you're in the environments and you're actually engaging with the gameplay. I think it has some wonkiness in some of the cutscenes, specifically when you are talking to crew members and you're not in like a setup cutscene, like when you're like in engine. Their facial animations are real weird, but the environments are gorgeous. I do wish they were more varied. I did feel like from what I played of Returnal, getting through those first 3 areas, they're all like different color coded. So I think that helps with feeling very different. But here I did feel like they all kind of blended together in many ways. I wasn't blown away when I got to any respective area like I was going from the first area to the second area in Returnal. But I think that gives the game a really nice cohesion to it. And there's definitely highlights, but I do think that the first area is my favorite looking area. The clash of that red and gray is astonishing, looks so fucking cool. And that's not to say the other areas aren't great, and there are a few others that I would say kind of come close to that, but I think they set the bar too high right out the gate, and I wanted them to hit that bar, and they never did. The progression system is really nice here. I'm glad that it's a part of this game because that was a big reason as to why I fell off of Returnal. I would play 2 hours and feel like I made no progress. I did absolutely nothing, and it was just a get good kind of experience. And here you're making meaningful upgrades as you go through each run and using your Lucenite currency to unlock these different nodes. I do wish the skill tree was a little bit better. I do feel like I'm just pumping points into everything and it's just like bing, 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 bing. But I didn't feel like any one upgrade was making me feel better. It took many upgrades to feel like I hit that next level. And I think that I wish it was a little bit more satisfying to unlock each and every node. But yeah, we'll dig into more of the details, the guns in this game, the soundtrack, the utilization of the DualSense. Unfucking real. Housemarque has that shit on lock as the best in the business at using the DualSense controller, only somewhat matched by Asobi. Asobo's the other studio that made Plague Tale, right?
Yep.
Asobi with Astrobot, I think, uses the controller very well, but I think this takes it to a whole other level. So if you're a gameplay-focused person, and that is what you look for in a game and what you care about the most, this is a must play. Like, I don't know, like, if you want to argue that this is the best feeling video game ever, I can wrap my head around that take, and I might agree with you. Like, it feels so fucking good to play. There's some issues for sure, but overall, I really loved my time with this game. It took me about 20 hours to beat, maybe. I think I'm going to go for the platinum. It doesn't seem all that difficult. Unlocked the true ending, and I really enjoyed where the story went, and the answers that were finally revealed as you got to some of these conclusions were very satisfying, but it still allows for many questions to be left unanswered when you get to those conclusions, which I think is really fun to speculate on, and I imagine this game is going to have a lot of discourse and conversation around it in the years and months to come. So yeah, what are you thinking?
Great review, man. I think that this is a step up from Returnal, even though there's certain things that Returnal does better than this game. And with that being said, though, I'm going to give this one an 8.5 out of 10. A very, very great video game. To kick it off, I think that it's foolish not to talk about how good the combat is in this game. Going just room to room, sequence to sequence, level to level, everything is top in class when it comes to that combat. Every weapon in the arsenal feels great. I love the conversation I had with you where you were like, hey, I like this gun. I was like, I don't like this gun. I'm like, well, that means it's a good gun, because then it's still for somebody, even if it's not for me. And so I think that the different weapon variety is awesome. The extra ability to go and have like a super is super sick nasty. The abilities you unlock to go and be able to better face off against some of these enemies to feel a little bit more powered, where initially you can't go and dodge certain abilities or have no answers to what the enemies are throwing at you. You get some answers later in the game that feel extremely satisfying and rewarding to unlock and progress. And then the boss fights are just unfreaking believable. I think that at the start, I was actually pretty nervous that they were not going to hit the insane highs that Returnal had when it came to the boss fights. I think that the last 3 fights in this game are probably my 3 favorite Housemarque fights, which is insane to say when we're talking about Returnal and the pedigree that game had when it came to those final encounters. I think that Rahul Kohli absolutely delivers the goods. Just already lock him in for one of the performance awards for later this year. He will get nominated 1000% at the Game Awards, in my opinion. I think that there's so much nuance to his performance, which is very, very difficult to go and like have so much character while also being a little bit more ambiguous on where the hell the narrative is even going. And that when it comes to that narrative, the roguelike structure is extremely interesting to tell a story, but they do so in such a way through the text logs and videos where I loved getting the small snippets of what the hell is happening in Saros that it just kept me wanting to go and read more and listen in more. When it comes to the art design, I think that it excels in the second half of this game. I disagree with you on that first area being my favorite. I think that the final 3 areas, especially the final 2 areas, are the stars of the show. With that being said, once you get out of that first area, I think it takes a very deep drop. There is a very deep drop off of how good the game looks when it comes to these environments. I think for the next couple after that first area, I'm like, this is not even coming anywhere close to the worst levels in Returnal when it comes to that visual design. But in the back half, it really gets saved and is extremely, extremely impressive. All in all, I love this game. It's a treat to play. The gameplay, you nailed it. It might be the best feeling game on the DualSense. It might be the best feeling game ever. Like, it just feels so good. Pulling L2 halfway down to go and use a different ability because every gun has 2 different firing modes. Sick nasty. Awesome. Every single time that a boss got defeated, it was that euphoric Souls-like feeling of, hell yeah, I just accomplished something major and I'm able to progress, especially having the progression in this game where you are now being able to take home all of your goodies that you earned throughout your run compared to losing some after dying. Feels great. And then pumping those into the skill tree, like you said, doesn't always feel like you're progressing the most, but you are progressing, and that always is rewarding. So yeah, I love this. Like 8.5 out of 10. I don't think that narratively it's like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be talking about the narrative in Saros in a couple of years. I think that the standout moments are really what raises this game up from being just great to like really, really great, that 8.5 area. But yeah, this is an easy recommend. Love it. I can talk about this game. I'm so excited to dive in more to what we enjoy about this game, but an 8.5 out of 10 from me.
I'm going to say some blasphemy right now.
Oh, no.
I like this game more than RE9. Yeah.
that we're on. Like it, I'm okay with. Yeah, if you say it's a better,
I gave him the same score.
Yeah. If you say it's a better game, that's where
it's a more complete game. I like the entire thing rather than like 80% of it and don't like 10, 15, and then they right the ship at the last 5% of RE9. But
for me, RE9 is a extremely complete video game. It dips just a little bit at one point. That's why it's not a masterpiece for me. Whereas this is for like talking about like goaty stuff. Let's start here, I guess. Because now we're in the free form. Just give me the ball, I'll shoot anywhere, man. Half court. Going and talking about the goaty conversation. This easily is a contender. It's up there for many, many people. If this is your game of the year, awesome. I totally understand that. In the same way that in 2021, Returnal was many people's game of the year. It was not everyone's. It wasn't this like standout hit across the board, but it is many people's game of the year. And I respect that heavily because of how good that combat is and how good the gameplay feels. When it comes to me and just personally where this is going to land, I assume it's going to be on the back half of my list. Like, I don't think this was going to be top 3 by any means. I don't think it's going to be top 5 even.
Right now, I think it's below Marathon, above RE9.
RE9, yeah, RE2, yeah. Which, once again, that's fine. It makes sense with how you were able to play this for 12 hours. Also, spoiler, I inadvertently kind of also played for 12 hours straight, where it was I played 7 hours last night, fell asleep, woke up, grabbed a coffee, played 5 more hours. Like, and so just going and doing, like, the gameplay here is so fucking good. Like, it is actually kind of insane. Also, my hands hurt so badly.
Yeah, I do too.
Like, playing this game for a long period of time, it definitely is going to... It helps a lot with my guitar playing, because I'm making calluses right now. Like, these fingers are able to go and lift a truck. But, like, it is so much fun. And I don't want to get it lost at all. Like, it's going to be on my top 10 this year. Like, this game fucking rips. It's just not close to where I have Resident Evil 9 at this point, which for me is like an all-timer. But dude, Housemarque, just so good. They just know what the fuck they're doing.
We're gonna start with gameplay, but there's a lot of threads to pull at here.
Yeah.
You kind of touched on it during your short form, the arsenal of weapons and the viability of all of them and how they feel all just fantastic to shoot.
Yeah.
I totally agree with that. I think there's one gun of the dozen or so guns and gun variants that I was like, I don't like this.
Is it a late game gun?
Yes. Involving two things.
Yeah. Okay, I know what you're talking about.
And I feel like in the right hands, somebody could really love that gun.
That's me, baby.
Okay.
Because I went and I was forced into it, where I had. Connor knows it. I don't like the shotgun in this game.
There's many different shotguns, so you don't like any of them.
Yeah, I don't like the two different. Yeah,
well, there's 3 or 4, I think.
Okay, I just stopped picking up shotguns, and if I had to pick one up, I would lose it as fast as possible. Like, I was not about the shotty in this game, which normally. I love shotguns in games. Like, that's it.
I avoided pistols at all cost, especially later in the game.
I moved off the pistols, but the 3-round burst pistol felt great.
Yeah, early on, they're great, but like
I was an AR guy throughout the game. Like, I liked the AR variants in this game quite a bit. Like, where that was my final boss. I need an AR and I need a certain super. Where, like, I was like, I want to get my kit that feels good. With that being said, though, the gun that you're talking about, once again, it involves 2 things. By the way, this is not a spoiler cast. I don't think we're going to do a spoiler cast for this. I don't think
there's probably enough to dig into, but I don't know.
It's not on the calendar. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
And so, but this is not a spoiler cast. We're not going to hop into spoilers. But it involves 2 things. For me, I was like forced to use that weapon because I had a shotgun. And I was like, well, I don't want that. And this was in the second to last area. And I was like, okay, like, I need to figure out how to use this. And when you're utilizing it the right way, oh my gosh! Like, I was like, I didn't use it a lot towards the end of the game because, like, I used it for that level, and I think I beat the boss of that second last boss with that gun, which is bananas. Holy shit, though, the boss. Anyways, going and doing that whole thing with that weapon, I was like, everything's viable, like you said. Everything. It's kind of insane. Even though I didn't like the shotguns, like, I was like, okay, I'm using a shotgun. Let me get up close and personal and start fucking wrecking house with these things.
One that you can turn on its side, you can get some distance and still be able to do a good amount of damage. Yeah.
That's the other part, man. The weapon variant aspect of all of it is like...
Then there's the pellet one where it drops like pellets in front of you and then you shoot through it and it launches all those pellets. Oh my, it looks fucking incredible, dude. Yeah. It's not as powerful as I want it to be, and it's kind of difficult to set up the scenario to like get that shot lined up, but it's still pretty satisfying.
Yeah, I can't believe how good the weapons are in this game. And by the way, I think the weapons are a massive step up from Returnal.
Yeah, there was some duds in Returnal from what I played. Like the lobber gun and the shotgun in that game, I did not like.
Yeah, I would say that like 40% of your arsenal in Returnal is kind of booty cheeks, which, like, once again, if somebody else might like it more and all that stuff, but I really do think that in this game in particular, like, when we were talking, I was like, okay, like, I get what you're saying and why you like the certain aspects of the shotguns, and I don't. But like, that gives it merit for sure. And so compared to Returnal, where it felt like I was like, this gun doesn't feel bad, and I look over the chat and I was like, yeah, don't use that gun. Like, it's ass. It's like, okay, like, that's important to note and make sure that I'm not going to go and utilize it. Can we talk about this? I don't think I used the active reload once in Returnal.
That's wild.
And so I was like, why is my guns always overheating? The active reload in this game feels phenomenal.
So good every single time. It never got old. It felt like I got hit by a brick whenever I clicked that fucking button perfectly and got the active reload down. Oh, it's so good. And that just feeds into the sound design of this game in general. Like, everything sounds incredible.
Yeah, just sticking with weapons, like when you're using a less ammo, bigger shot, larger type weapon, it feels like you are shooting a gun and getting the kickback on it because of the way that the DualSense feels in your hand with it.
Enhanced even further by the sound that's coming through your headphones or through your screen.
And then when you have the ARs and the faster shooting things, the like, or the like,
or the one that like ramps up. Oh, so good.
Fucking hell, man! Like, this game rips, dude. I can't believe at how good of a video game that it comes to weapon design, sound design. Like, that's the other hard part of this. So I was struggling. I'll tell you this much. I was at an 8 for 50% of this game. I was going to give it an 8 out of 10.
Was it a 9 in the first level? And I stayed at a 9 the entire time. Never wavered.
And then the last 4 levels, especially the last 3 levels, I was like, this is 9 out of 10 goodness the entire time. Whereas like I think my time with Returnal was 8, 9, 8, 8 sort of deal, and then I ended up just giving it an 8 overall when it came to the 5 levels in that one. But like literally the back half of this really is where I was like, oh, fuck yeah, dude, like I'm all in. I really just love the way that this game progresses though when it comes to the weapons you're getting. Like every single time, like you walk up and it's just a weapon on a pedestal and you're just like, oh, I wonder what this is gonna do. Like it feels awesome to go and progress in that way. And
then that kind of feeds into the idea of progression and the roguelike elements outside of like the skill tree and everything. Like your in run, how you're improving. You can go up to these like pedestals that you crack open. Some of them, I punched all of them, by the way.
By the way, punching them sometimes hosed me later.
Really?
Because I pressed the punch button and the punch button then took me somewhere else. Yeah, that happened multiple times in the last level where I'm like, okay, like I really need heals before this next section. Fuck! Dude, it was so frustrating, but it is what it is. It wasn't the end of the world.
So as you're going through the level, there's some of these pillars that are blue and red. I punched both of them. Anyways, you can just press triangle for the blue ones, but I just always
you gotta hit them.
And it pops out with certain upgrades, giving you more health, giving you more power.
Yep.
And you can see the little number going up in the corner as you accumulate more and more of these. And then once you get to a certain point in a level, you usually have to go into the Eclipse. It makes the enemies more powerful. They spit out more corrosive
corruption
orbs, that will accumulate on your health bar and make it so if you want to knock that corrosion off, you can use your power weapon and get your health bar fully back.
You get your health bar back, but you don't get the health back,
which is also a really fun like dance to play with, where like, okay, I'm already low health and this is going to eat up my health bar and I need more power to use my power weapon or whatever. And so I'm willing to eat these yellow orbs right now and be a little bit risky, understanding that I'm going to need to earn it back a little bit later by using the power shot.
There was times though, literally, like I'm about to enter the next section and I'm like, I have some corruption on me and I'm just like, just shoot my power up in the sky 3 times and I'm like, cool. Now I need to just find some ether and I'm good to go. It helps you like sort of turn the brain on where it's like, I am now in fight mode more than I'm in flight mode, where it is like I'm not just scouring. Like it's like, okay, if I take out that enemy and I hit him, maybe it's gonna go and drop one. Let's do it that way. And so the gameplay sequencing of that is so freaking good. It adds that extra layer, like you said.
And then not only does it make the enemies more powerful and have different bullet patterns and abilities, it also makes it so whenever you go to these pillars to get your upgrades, they all have a negative attribute attached to them as well, which makes for some really interesting scenarios depending on what build you're trying to go after. So you can get more health, but if you take a hit, it'll jam your weapon. My favorite one to find is ones that made it so you take more damage when you fall off the map. Because I'm like, I'm not going to fall off the map. And then you do, and you're like, fuck. But so like there's always this give and take, this opportunity cost to getting certain upgrades. And I think it creates some really interesting dilemmas for the player to grapple with. And I thought that was way more interesting than just kind of dumping points into yourself without any negative effect before the Eclipse comes on. I
loved that there was a moment where I was like, I can't take fall damage, and I like if you take fall damage, you will or if you will take fall damage because you don't take fall damage in your normal setup. And I was like, cool, I got right before a boss, and I jumped, and then I was like, okay, don't take fall damage, and then I like shot myself forward, it dashed forward, and I was like, oh, I dashed too early. I fucking died because I had no health left, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is gonna make me crash out. But I also was like, you signed up for this, buddy, you took on that attribute, you knew what you were doing. It's just tough toodle sometimes.
Along with these other upgrades that you're getting for your specific stats, you're also finding weapons that are different weapons, or you can just get higher level weapons that pack a little bit more of a punch. So it's fun to come across those. And you also have a currency that you can use to re-roll if you want something different. Like I had stuff that I was definitely looking for, especially in that last section of the game. And dude, I sometimes use like 3 or 4 on one thing just to get to what I was looking for.
And it goes at level scales too. So if you're at a higher level, you're going to find better weapons. And so like I wouldn't like crack certain things open until I hit a certain level to go and be like, okay, like I need this to be like the gun I want for this boss and everything. And so you run around, you get all your like side stuff together, trying to go and just level up, fight certain enemies, and then you come back to this thing and you open it, fucking shotgun, fuck, like just, and then you re-roll and it's like the other gun I kind of don't like, fuck, like it just, and then you re-roll again and it's a different variant of the shotgun.
My way of dealing with that was to just save all my re-rolls until like right before the boss.
That's what I did literally on my last run before I beat the game, where I was like, man, like I need to start to play this properly, because I kept dying with like 5% health on that fucking last boss. But great game.
We touched the guns. We touched on the progression, I think, enough during the short form. We don't really need to dig deeper into that.
Yeah, I do want to mention though that functionality of the tree, there were certain ones where you would go through all like the small ones, and then it would be, okay, you start with the reroll, and it's like, okay, like at least that's like something that I can grasp and understand more than, okay, this just ups my power or ups my drive or ups my health bar, just like the tiny smallest bit. And like that actually were certain upgrades within the skill tree that I was like, I like that. I like when you give me a key that can go and open a chest basically, or open up like Connor said, a pillar that gets me something else, and start with one of those in the progression. Those I think were done well, but I do like the whole progression aspect of this game compared to Returnal, but also I do think that it could have been done in a better way.
Yeah, and there's many nodes that you need a specific currency to unlock, and I think those are like the ones that make you feel like you got that extra, like really tangible extra boost.
And that's where this is your Two Shoes pro tip for this game: go after those some bitches early on, because like I was
you get further
loaded.
into the skill tree, you need like 7 or 8 per.
Exactly.
I did find one section where it was 2 per each of them for an ability you get later in the game, like a super, and dude, I did all of them, and I was melting enemies with this power. So that's another pro tip for you. Look out for that. I'm being vague to avoid spoilers, but you'll see them. Like it's all like diagonal and down, and there's like 7 of them, and they're all worth 2, which everything else around it is worth like 7 or 8.
Yep, dude, that is kind of the fun part of the skill tree too. They do allow you to branch off in certain ways well enough where like I was like, okay, like I have an extra 100 points, I'm gonna go and or 100 leucinite, I'm gonna go and put it there instead, or top off this like small node compared to like save up because I only have one direction to go towards. It was nice to go and have some of those moments where you were able to drain your leucinite down to like the last dollar, basically. It felt like with some of those upgrades.
We kind of touched on it earlier, but I want to make sure to give this some shine. The shield, which is a big addition to this game. Yeah. Really great. Adds a really nice extra layer to the combat and something to constantly be considering and managing. And it's very satisfying to see those blue orbs coming towards you and being like, I'm eating all those.
Dude, I think that the shield in this game is what takes this one to the next level over Returnal.
A little sound design too.
Yeah, like, it's like almost a bubbly sound. Oh my gosh! Like I really do think that actually might be the best addition to this entire game, because it's gameplay. Once again, Housemarque, they really refined that Returnal formula and made it into something that just is a little bit more streamlined, a little bit better across the board, whether it is the progression or the shield, or we'll talk about the narrative. I think the narrative in this one is like way more interesting than Returnal's, and is done way better by like adding characters and
stuff
like that.
There's way more of it too. Yeah, I played 7 hours of Returnal, and I think I probably got like 30 minutes of cutscenes. Maybe.
I think that
30 minutes of story.
There's so much here, and like I'm gonna go after the true ending. By the way, I did not get the true ending. I rolled credits, and then Connor's here now. Like that is sort of how the day went. Shout out to Connor for finishing the true ending. The
true ending is essential.
Yeah.
You've beaten the game once the credits roll, but I do think that, like, to say you've beaten the game,
if you want,
really
if you want to know everything that happens, you sure as fuck need to beat the game. Like, I'm not in the. I don't think right now I feel comfortable looking up a YouTube video, being like, so how does this all tie in together? Like, I know, because I know that there's something out there that you can search for and everything. With that being said, though, like, I still feel confident on like what this game is. You know, more is where is this gonna end up and finalize when it comes to narrative structure. I totally forgot what we were talking about before.
Talking about the shield.
Shield. Oh yeah. So the shield, though, I do think is the culmination of the progression that this team made from Returnal to Saros, with going and having a shield that is so freaking good, and it goes and makes you turn from running away. And for me, playing Returnal, like the amount of times where I'm like, okay, there's a couple enemies, I'm gonna drop down and fall back. It's like, no, I'm going to now chase you down, get into action, utilize my shield at the right moment to go and absorb more power, and then light you up, dude. Like I think during the little pro tip for you, if you can not return to base and you're able to just continue your run, and you have like a lot of levels from your previous run, just do that. I beat the 7th boss in this game first try because of that. Like I just was rolling in with feeling more souped up and everything, but like I felt with the shield way more capable and trudging forward compared to in Returnal, where I was like, all right, like time to hide. And I think that was such a smart design aspect of this game for sure.
Stop moving, you die.
Yep. Yeah, that's so true, man.
What happens in this game? But yeah, I think the shield adds a really nice additional piece to the flow of gameplay and makes the whole thing just feel all the more dynamic. You're firing. You're doing your alt fire, you're hitting a super, you're putting the shield up to charge that super up, you're dashing out of the way, you're using certain traversal mechanics that are introduced throughout the game to zip around the battlefield. I kept certain enemies alive that were putting out a lot of blue orbs, and I was like, okay, you're my farm. Like I'm just gonna keep you close, and I'm gonna keep popping my shield to get my super bar charged up so I can keep just spamming this thing.
Dude.
Like it's just so kinetic and fast paced and just constantly moving and asking something new of you. Like very regularly they're throwing new enemies your way that you have to learn their patterns and master how you're going to handle them. And like it just all feels so good.
They called it a bullet ballet and like pre-release stuff and previews and all that stuff, and it's like, all right, like that's a fun little catch. No, they absolutely delivered on what that promise is.
I'm dodging out of the way in real life playing this game.
Laura walks into the room, his car just going, like flying into, left or right on the couch.
I would have gotten hit if I didn't do that motion. For sure.
Dude, that's so funny. I completely agree. There was also many different active gamer moments where like I'm sitting on the couch, I'm like sprawled out. I've been here for 4 hours, and then it is like, okay, it's boss fight time. Lean forward.
My back is killing me today. I played 75% of this game in gamer position, leaned forward, arms on the legs, just leaning in, dude. But locked in.
By the way, I don't know if I said my hour count. 15 to 17. My game clock's at 15 hours. My PlayStation says 17.
My PlayStation says 20, and I didn't check.
I had to boot it back up last minute to go and check. I would assume though, like, is that with true ending and everything? 7 or 20, so then you probably around the same area, which I do think leans on the fact that we are decent at this game. I also will mention, I think that this game is much easier than Returnal.
Yep.
Like way easier. And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing.
It's
like,
still hard though.
Oh, dude. So like, trust me, hangry old Tushi's on that couch was like, why can't you be easy now? Because like the last 2 boss fights were pretty cakewalks.
It is much more accessible than Returnal is.
Which I also think that this is how Smart, in a large way, doing a coming out party, being like, everyone play our fucking game. Like this is accessible. It's hard, but we have something here that it should be able to be played by every single player. And I'm not saying that like everyone's going to love the difficult nature of this game. It's still difficult, like you said, but it is like a game that is meant to be played by, I think even PlayStation probably knocked on the door when they were making the next game. They're like, hey, make it something that can sell more copies, please. Because Returnal is definitely for a much more hardcore audience.
All right, let's talk about the story.
Okay.
A new major component of the game, like we said earlier, Returnal has some story, definitely not the focus of the game. Here, there's many cutscenes. You go back to the passage, that's what it's called, the hub area. You can interact with your different crewmates. You can find audio logs strewn throughout the environment, giving you more backstory into the world and to the other characters that are present in this universe. There's text logs for you to read. I really like the audio and text logs in this game. I feel like you get more out of the story the more you put into it. And I feel like if you don't engage with this, you're going to be very confused, or at the very least, you're not going to pick up on a lot of things as fast as you should.
I was about to say, if you do engage with it, you're still going to be confused. Like I still am in a spot where I'm like, I don't know everything that's happening with every single character, but I do have a better picture than if I did not read certain shit and listen to certain shit in this game.
And as Nick said earlier, Rahul Kohli, main character, Arjun, I'm trying to remember his last name. Devrush. There it is. Boom.
2 points.
Fantastic job.
Dude.
Like, I've always loved this guy. Like, I like him as a person. He seems like a really cool dude, but his acting performance has always been really stellar. Zombie, Midnight Mass.
So for
nothing
me,
else, as Greg says.
For me, I remember I watched Midnight Mass with someone I was dating at the time, and I'm not a scary anything person. Like, I fuck that shit, right? But they were like, hey, like, we're gonna watch this, like, it's gonna be great. And I look at the cast, I'm like, oh, like, I've heard about this Rahul Kohli guy. What's the chops does he have? And like, he's not like the main character in Midnight Mass by any means, but he is a very like much a staple in the cast list. And he's awesome. Like, he's so good. I wouldn't say steals the show, but like, he's definitely one of the notable parts of the show that makes it so fucking good. And so, like, going and watching that, I was like, okay, this guy's on the radar for sure. Like, let's see what he can do. Being the like, he pops up in the trailer, and I'm like, oh shit, that's Rahul Kohli. What's up? He delivers. Like, he is a total action star in this game, which is super awesome to see like how dynamic of a character he is.
A lot of depth, very complex, and it comes through in his facial animation and his voice performance as well.
And when I talk about the first 50% of this game, I do think narratively it's a lot more about the other characters in the world and like sinking you in, and then the last 50% is about him. And I think that once again, narratively, that's where this game, like, for me, hits that next gear, where it's like a lot of the stuff that's happening to the cast and the world, I'm like, okay, like, this is interesting, but like, why am I like playing as this person? Like, how is this affecting his narrative? And when it goes in actually comes together towards the end, I'm like, that's what's up. Like, this works and is super dope.
I like the supporting cast. I don't love them.
I don't care for anyone in the supporting cast in this game.
I do think the pacing of the story is pretty weird.
I think that's not good.
It goes off the rails very fast and then kind of just stays there for an extended period of time where like you're like, I know where this is going. I'm just waiting for it to happen. And then it happens like 7 hours later. And doesn't really progress that meaningfully in that time.
Once again, why is this game not a 9 to me? I do think narratively there's a lot of interesting stuff that's happening, but interesting doesn't always mean good. And in this scenario, I do think that a large amount of like what the Eclipse is doing, and like once again, I'm just talking about stuff that's in trailers and stuff like that. What the Eclipse is doing, what the side characters are, it's not very interesting. Like, I wasn't like gripped into these things. It wasn't like, oh, like time to pick up my phone and fucking totally blow off the story situation. But it was like, oh, what's happening? Like, and it's not even the gripping nature of the mystery that Arjun goes through by the end of the game, where I'm like, that is interesting, I want to know more about that. It very much is like, what's going on? I don't care.
Yeah, by the end, because I was fascinated by these audio logs early on, but by the end I'm like, shit's weird, shit's off the rails, it's still off the rails, and I'm not getting like answers here, I'm just getting more confirmation that things are all fucky. Like, so they're interesting enough. I think the text logs are a bit more dense with meaningful information, but I think that department could have been a little bit better. But Arjun's story and his journey, I think, is fantastic. I do think the overarching plot, once you have the whole thing in front of you, is fascinating.
Yes.
Like, what the hell happened on this planet? I'm like, damn, this is really, really cool.
That plus just having it be all mystery for a while and then starting to understand what it is, this game works so well as a roguelike. And like the narrative theming that goes along with the roguelike and the narrative theming that is happening with the main character, I think is done very well. And that's talking as someone that does not understand this full fucking game still and have not done the true ending. And a large part with that roguelike nature, with this main character, it is very much like, I do want to see the full true ending because of how interesting that aspect is. The reason I want to beat this, like do the true ending, is narratively I feel incomplete right now. And once again, like that's what, there's many true endings in roguelikes that fucking complete the whole narrative and everything. I want to get there and see what it is the very end of Arjun's story.
I will say I did watch a ending explain what the hell happened in Saros video.
No matter what.
I got it all.
Yeah.
There was the only reason I did it was because there was one point that I was a little bit iffy on, and I think it's still up for interpretation. that they came to a different conclusion than I did, but I got all of it. I understood all of it, which I was like, I'm impressed by myself. I usually get lost in the sauce when it comes to these kind of things.
Understand. I do think my theories, I think, will be right when I get to the conclusion of all this stuff, but I do want to get a more concrete conclusion. And also, if I didn't, I actually kind of like some of the ambiguity on it. And I don't think that's the end of the world to roll credits in this game and put it down and be like, I like that this is... I think even where you're at, there are things that are probably going to be a little bit ambiguous, and that's still a good thing.
Yeah, they give you a lot of answers at the end, but there's still many, many questions that people are going to speculate on.
Last thing, we mentioned it, but I want to like fully make this a talking point when it comes to this review discussion. We're all here for the boss fights.
Yeah.
Where are you at with the boss fights? I don't want to say how many there are in the game by any means, but like, do you feel satisfied with the full experience that you got with these fights?
There was only one that I would say I'm a little bit lower on than the rest of the bunch, but for the most part, like I said this on stream and I've said this in the Discord, but when I play this game, specifically in the boss fights, I don't blink for the entire thing. My eyes are on fire by the end of it.
Yeah.
It locks you in so heavily, and that's where the dance and the ballet really comes into its full effect. And the music and the visuals and the design of the bosses, like, it's just all firing on all cylinders. It's Housemarque at their fucking best.
Yep.
I do agree with you that the last few bosses are definitely the best ones, but that doesn't mean that the earlier ones are slouches by any means.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think it's phenomenal. They're really great.
I think that the boss fights and the way that it progresses you through the difficulty of the game, I think are done very, very well. Mm-hmm. I do like that when the game does give you a tool, you utilize that tool in the boss fight. That's a staple in video games.
Yeah, the one boss fight I don't like as much as I hoped to is the one where they introduce a mechanic right before it, and it's like, I'm very clearly supposed to use this, but
I don't want
using it is not optimal. And it's getting me into tough situations where I am getting hit and taking damage. And once I was like, fuck it, I'm not utilizing that mechanic for this fight specifically. I did use it as the game progressed more and more, but when I stopped using it for that fight, I cruised through it. So
I utilized it as sparingly through that fight as I could. But I did utilize it a couple times on my winning run on the exact fight that you were talking about. I do think that this game takes a while to ramp up in boss fights. I think that the first fight in this game, great. It competes with some of the earlier fights in Returnal. And then I do think for a few of them in a row, I'm like...
I think 1 and 2 are phenomenal.
I'm trying to remember. There's one that... I want to say it's about the halfway point that I'm like, we start kicking into gear a little bit, and then it just does not let up after there. I do think a large part of that though also comes down to the fact that the design, the world design, I'm thinking about Returnal. Like I'm like, though for the first couple, I'm like, this isn't hitting Returnal's like how spectacle some of those later fights are, because that's what I'm coming off of. But I do forget the first couple fights in Returnal are about the same gas level of those fights, and then the last 3 fights in this game, man, are just excellent, dude. Like, they're so
specific order. I know.
Yeah.
I got it.
Yeah, cool. And I do think that they progress, and I do think the second last fight is my favorite in the game. The second last level in this game is my favorite level in this game.
The third to last is my favorite.
Yeah, that's totally fair. And I think that the second last, once again, I first tried it, I think it's my favorite level in the game. So I only went through the level once, which is kind of disappointing.
Oh, that's crazy that you only did that once. It took me on average 3 runs to get through a boss. I did one shot, a couple of them, but for the most part, some of them more than 3, some of them less.
Yeah, the three checks, 3 to 4 for me probably. But yeah, I think that the bosses in this game are just like awesome. Like, and talk about like it reminds me of Hades being like, yeah, I want to go back and fight these things again. Just because it's fun. Like, I don't need to feel the progression of like, I need to triumph over you again. I just want to go and run it back because it's just a good time on the sticks, seeing these visuals, doing the whole damn thing. I think that this game excels in boss fights. And really, once again, like, if you were like, how do you feel about just the combat and boss fights in this game? I'd be like, it's fucking amazing. Like, what do you want from me? But I do think that there are certain detractors where it starts a little bit slow and the narrative doesn't hit on all cylinders and stuff like that. That gets me around that 8.5 area.
Last bit I want to talk about is the soundtrack. These fucking screeching guitars, heavy drums, wailing synths.
The wails are crazy.
Oh, it's so good. It makes the gameplay so much better. It cannot be overstated how it enhances the overall experience, and like this game would not be as good as it is without this phenomenal soundtrack.
And it gets louder as you go on.
Yeah.
and once again, I do think it works with the theming of this game extremely well. Shout out to the team. Anyone that worked with any audio piece in this game deserves a fucking raise. Like, they absolutely deliver the goods, whether it was sound design or the scoring. It is phenomenal. I will say this, you don't have a Don't Fear the Reaper moment like you do in Returnal, where that song has like major theming that happens later in the game, and I kind of wish that there was something like that towards this, but I will say though, I think I prefer this soundtrack to Returnal's, which is saying a lot when it comes to the original.
I do want to go back and play Returnal now. Speaking of which, I got some write-ins to
freaking beat the game for once.
I recently picked Returnal up again after getting filtered by the first boss. Game is dripping in sauce. Audio design is off the charts. Saros is now high up on my to be played. I can't wait to dive in ASAP. That last sentence threw me off. That is from Mitchell.
Shout out Mitchell.
Yeah, I want to hop back into Returnal.
Yep.
I do think that. Do you think people should start with Returnal and then go to Saros if they can, or does it really not matter that much?
I actually would say if you're like someone that's a little bit nervous about how difficult these games are, play Saros first.
Yeah, because then you can get the feel for the gameplay, get better at it, and then go back to Returnal, and where it's a little bit more unforgiving, you will hopefully be able to make up ground with the skill you've earned from playing Saros.
I do think that objectively, even though I did suck on that last fight, I do think a large part, like I was dying when I shouldn't have been dying, and I just wasn't properly locked in because I was hungry. But going and I think that Saros, I was properly prepared for Saros because of how I went through Returnal and went through it relatively recently, and so I was like, some of these fights I fucking got on lock, baby. And also just understanding how to dodge, how to understand lines of fucking projectiles coming your way, and be like, okay, this isn't as scary as it seems. Go left, go right, go up, go down. All that stuff works extremely well if you can understand. So I would say if you are nervous about that, play Saros first. If you're like, I'm gonna play both these games anyways, I'm really excited to play both, play Returnal first.
I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you guys. I was so locked into this conversation talking about Saros that I completely forgot about Fan Sim and write-in. So this is gonna be a little weird. I'm just throwing these out there.
Yeah, do you remember there was a time during the CGNC where we read through the Patreon names. I was like, oh shit, I forgot to write it, and we went back and talked about the write-in. It happens. Sorry, but shout out. By the way, also shout out to the people that wrote in. We didn't know this was going to be the fucking topic until this morning. It very much was a question of, will we beat this game? So thank you for writing in on a shorter notice.
From Boltsick, been loving Saros so far. Such an intriguing story, even if I don't fully understand it. Gameplay is top tier and very engaging, and love some of the improvements in it from Returnal, along with the progression improvements. Housemarque proves that they know how to make it gameplay and lore that hooks you, and I'm here for it. And I think this write-in is a good jumping off point for where Housemarque currently is in the AAA gaming space. You mentioned it earlier. You think they might be ascending to one of the big dogs?
Yeah.
Do you think this game's going to sell exceptionally well? Do you think that this solidifies them as one of the best PlayStation studios? Where are you at with that?
I think that they're alongside Insomniac at this point.
They're better than Insomniac for me. I mean, they've been better than Insomniac for me. I did say earlier they don't miss. There was some weird games that came out after Resogun that were not as good as their previous ones.
I do want to say, I think that they are putting themselves in a spot. They're a small studio. They're going to be on the 5-year cycle most likely for the rest of the time. 5 to 6 years as game development hopefully shrinks one size compared to elongates. But I do think that they are getting to a point where they are an A-tier studio. You see that Housemarque logo, you're officially allowed and supposed to get really excited. It's Returnal, awesome. Many people's game of the year. Right now, Saros is having a moment, I would say, where a lot of people are like, oh, this is the next PlayStation banger. This is a game that will, if it's there at the end of the year, I wouldn't be shocked. Even if there are other games that come out and are phenomenal too, I wouldn't be shocked just due to the fact that everyone's and their mom's going to play this one.
I'm going to be pissed if this isn't nominated for Game of the Year, dude.
I think it won't be.
Oh my god, 89. 88 on Metacritic?
Yeah, just like thinking about what's coming up, you have something like 007. I know that's crazy to say that the 007, but those previews were damn good. You got Forza happening. Forza won't get nominated. That I just am excited about that game. GTA will get nominated. I think Wolverine, even if it's a lower Metacritic score, might get nominated over this because more people will play. It's more accessible. And then the whole Xbox slate is like, if it comes out this year, I think it gets nominated. Nintendo's going to do whatever the fuck they're going to do. Dustblood still exists. Do we get Half-Life 3? All that stuff. It just really depends on where the year goes. And this is not a like negative on what Saros is. Saros is awesome. It will be many people's game of the year, and it should be many people's game of the year. But I wouldn't be shocked if it's not there. Guess what? Game of the year, just a reminder, it's all for funsies. Like, and I do think awards are good and necessary, and I like getting excited about this stuff. But like, Saros is no lesser of a game if it doesn't get nominated for a Game of the Year nomination, and if it does, it's well deserved.
My prediction on Saros' success and where this puts Housemarque at, I think this game's gonna do better than Returnal, but I think it will be criminally slept on.
Yep.
In the long run.
I do think that this will. You brought up with Pragmata, and I'm like halfway through this game, and I'm like, dude, video essays on this shit? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Are we gonna be crazy?
From Roland K, I've played a couple roguelikes in the past, but I don't really like them. I've never played Returnal, but would you guys still recommend me playing Returnal in Saros?
Yes.
If you don't like roguelikes, I don't think you'll like these games. Specifically Returnal.
I was going to say, Saros is, I think, an extremely accessible roguelike, especially with the fact that you're not going... I really think that if you're a solid game, you're not going to die over and over and over and over again in this game. Like, even though I did that literally a few hours ago. You're not going to have this, like, bang your head against the wall experience, which a lot of people dislike in roguelikes, going through those same sections over and over again.
Yeah.
Excuse me. But I do think that Saros is very accessible in that way. If you have interest, maybe wait for a sale sort of deal. But I'm not. This isn't a screaming from the rooftops for me. Everyone needs to play this. This is a. If you love the combat in video games and that's what you're about, play this fucking video game. All right. Anything else on this, or are we ready to hop in?
Yep, let's do the draft. Great conversation, by the way.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this. I'm now got a tickle in my throat that's going to affect the second half or this draft in general.
Get your water. Get through it, and I'll talk to the people. We're going to be talking about 7 out of 10 games. Who gave you this topic? Do you remember?
I have no idea. Shout out to the person that gave me the topic.
Man,
once again, I told them to ask you in the Discord to remind us.
And I said that we would do it, but you can look up draft idea in Discord, and it'll be in general, and hopefully it comes up.
Okay, you start. Oh my gosh, I'm dying.
Yep, Nick's crumbling.
Draft idea. Heel Sandman.
Thank you.
Said draft idea. Games with a Metacritic score of 80 or lower. We're doing just 79 to 70.
Yeah, this is
ish.
Kind of weird. We decided to be a little bit fast and loose with this because at first we were like favorite 7 out of 10s, games that we gave a 7 out of 10, and then I was like, no, we should do Metacritic and just do games 80 and below on Metacritic, and then trying to figure that out and get through a massive list of games was really difficult. So basically, the idea that we landed on was games that are generally speaking considered to be 7 out of 10, or stuff that we've given 7 out of 10. Stuff that's not considered to be one of the greats or a great video game, but a very good video game.
And it's something that you like that maybe you don't want to, like, you don't get to talk about a lot because it's just a 7 out of 10.
Yeah. I'll take the first pick on this.
Sure.
Today we are drafting 7 out of 10 video games, games that we gotta.
I'm so sorry. You keep going. I'm gonna grab more water.
Okay. You don't have. How did you drink all of that water?
It's 2 small, 10-ounce glasses. You draft. Go.
Okay. Well, no. I'm just gonna wait until you get back and we'll figure it out. But what am I looking forward to? 007. I'm very curious about. I think I'm going to be surprised. I think I'm going to end up really loving that game, but what we've seen from the trailers and the gameplay so far has had me very skeptical. But based off of the previews and the pedigree of IOI, like,
I can't wait for 007.
I feel like you have to put some faith in it.
Do you realize that 007 happens, then a week later we're in LA?
That's wild.
And then a week later, I'm at fucking Bonnaroo seeing the Strokes.
It's gonna be crazy. How did you get this together so fast?
I just ran in, dumped water.
No. My point is that like you were taking little sips of water here a minute ago, were you not?
I think it literally just was standing up, and I took a deep breath in the other room.
Okay.
And so I think we're good to go.
Let's hop back into it. Reset the board here. today we are drafting 7 out of 10 games. We're playing fast and loose with the criteria here. We thought about doing Metacritic scores. We thought about doing our personal 7 out of 10s. It's just going to be an amalgamation of both. Games that are generally considered good video games, not great video games. So if you think some of these games are great and deserve to be 8 out of 10, that's totally valid as well. I think some of these games deserve to be 8 out of 10 as well. So with my first pick, we're going to go with a game that is very special to me, but undeniably very flawed and not for everybody. It's kind of broken in many ways as well. The Last Guardian.
Oh, yeah.
I love this game so much. Many people bounced off of it, didn't like the gameplay and dealing with Trico and the simplicity of the puzzles and so on and so forth. This game just resonated with me so heavily, hit me straight in the feels. I love Trico, that character and his bond with the boy. Really something special. That team just makes such unique experiences. I don't think this is as good as Shadow of the Colossus or even nearly as good, but it hit me in a similar way emotionally, and I really love this game, The Last Guardian, with my first pick.
With my first pick, I am going to choose a game that I don't think is that great, but me and Brady played it a couple years ago around Halloween, and it's some of my favorite memories I have with this channel, and that's Until Dawn. I think that Until Dawn is a very flawed video game. I think that the story is off the walls and sometimes bad, and the writing is supposed to be corny, but sometimes it takes itself too seriously, and the end of that game, I think, is just kind of disastrous and totally jumps the shark. With that being said, I had a great time playing it with you guys. Like, it was a lot of fun,
game's
man.
At least an 8 out of 10, dude.
For me, it is a 7. And so, yeah, Until Dawn with my first pick. And with my second pick, I'm going to kick it to a game that, once again, I just love playing it. Like, it was just fun memories. And that is You and Me, Resident Evil 5. Resident Evil 5 is for sure one of my favorite 7 out of 10 games. I think that this game functions all the time as like a banger, great game. No, but going and playing a campy Resident Evil story together, us going and leaving the other person out to dry multiple times over, stealing ammo from each other, trying to find the best weaponry, all that fun stuff that you get from co-op games is a great way to facilitate that in a Resident Evil coat of paint. So yeah, I really enjoyed Resident Evil 5 with you. Those are my first 2 picks.
With my second pick, I'm going to keep the Sony PlayStation love alive, pick another exclusive from the PlayStation 4 generation. We're going with The Order 1886. This game is underrated, dude. It's like 6 hours long. It's way too short. It's mainly cutscenes, but I think the gameplay is actually really fun. I think that the world that they set up is fascinating, has some interesting characters to play off of. Yeah, I platinumed this game, and I had a great time doing it. And if they were to make an Order 1886 to Order 1887, I'd play the fuck out of it. But Ready at Dawn doesn't exist anymore, unfortunately. And I'm going to follow up my Ready at Dawn pick with another Ready at Dawn pick. We're going back to the PSP. We're picking Daxter on the PSP. Getting the sidekick in the spotlight. You're a fucking exterminator. You're taking out bugs. You're doing little platforming challenges. This is the definition of a 7 out of 10 game that I really enjoyed playing through last year for the first time.
You can't make me laugh about Daxter when I'm having a coughing fit over here.
Last year, or was it this year?
I think it was last year.
Okay.
For Daxter, yeah.
It was, yeah.
With my next pick, I'm going to choose my favorite one of these. But they're all 7 out of 10s when you really look at it. And that is Mario Golf Super Rush. The Switch Mario sports games are a bunch of 7 out of 10s. But I'd be damned if I didn't call out how much fun me and my roommates had in college playing this game. Like, this game is meant to be played for 10 hours, and we played it for 50. like we just had so much fun. Different courses, different clubs, different characters. There's some legendary photos of me in college where I'm wearing just a tie, and pants, but I'm playing as Donkey Kong and I'm cosplaying as my guy, and we're just having a great time playing Mario Golf Super Rush. And so when I think of like a 7 out of 10, I'm like, yeah, this game wasn't great by any means, but it was a blast to play with some buddies. And I'm going to you can say, like, once again, this draft isn't about winning for me. Like, there's no objective correct choices.
How about giving some shine to some underrated gems, I think.
And I'm going to do a game that Connor thinks is way worse than a 7 out of 10.
We're not doing this. Way worse.
Way worse than a 7 out of 10.
Okay. Oh my
Not Hellblade. No, Hellblade's an 8. for me.
Okay. I thought you were going to pick Kingdom Hearts.
No, I talked to Connor before this. I'm like, I don't know if Kingdom Hearts is a 7.5 or an 8 out of 10. Like Kingdom Hearts 1. Kingdom Hearts 2 is like a 9.5.
Kingdom Hearts is at least an 8 out of 10.
Connor, you can't make me laugh. But no, I'm going to choose Call of Duty Cold War. Black Ops Cold War. It is a very competent, fun game. This was the introduction of like the haptic triggers on the DualSense and how good that felt. I remember playing like 50 hours of this game, and the multiplayer maps were rock solid. Like the zombies experience, that first map, rock solid, like really fun. Was this the rebirth of Call of Duty that I was looking for? Hell no. But I think that it was a very good game and a good time, and it excited me for the next generation.
We're calling the first map in Cold War rock solid for zombies.
It is, yeah, rock solid.
I'd rather rip my toenails off than play Cold War zombies. That shit sucks, dude. That shit is so. I played like 10 hours of it, and it was painful the entire time. I played 20
hours of it, and I had
there
a good time the entire time.
There is no soul. It is a war zone asset flip.
There's no soul, but it's done well. Good extracts, Connor. Like
extracts in a zombies mode?
Once again,
fuck off.
And once again, Connor, I'm here. Like this is my memories. I'm not talking about the quality of the game necessarily, and I do think the quality of this game is about a 7 out of 10. It's about good. Maybe it's closer to a 6.5, but once again, let's 7 out of 10. I just want to talk about these memories. Yeah, no, I really enjoyed my time with Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, because also it was great for me. Beat Miles Morales, beat Astro's Playroom. I just want something to sink some hours into in my PS5 after that initial purchase. It was Black Ops Cold War for me.
Was that your fourth pick?
That was my fourth pick, yes.
Okay, so I have 2 more and you have 1. All right.
Yep.
With my fourth pick, we're going to go with Kirby Air Ride on the original GameCube, not Air Riders, the newest one, which also would qualify for this. I think it has like a 78 on Metacritic. But this game's a ton of fun with friends. City Trial, an absolute chaotic blast. Not much to say on this outside of that. It's not a very deep video game, but it's just a whole lot of fun. You can have 10 out of 10 fun with this 7 out of 10 video game. With my last pick, we're going to go with one of our earliest reviews on this channel. We're going to go with Rise of the Ronin. Yep. This game has a lot to love about it. That combat, what is it? Team Ninja?
Yeah.
Rock solid,
really
dude.
Fucking good.
Clearing out bases, taking on the different enemies. A lot of fun. I would have, if I had more time and didn't have anything else come out around it, I would have cleared the map of all the camps just to get more of that fantastic combat. You can collect cats in this game. It's a 10 out of 10. Yeah. Like, come on, man. Does it look like a PS3 game? Kinda, but who gives a shit? It's a lot of fun. I do recommend it if you're a combat-focused person.
Yeah, I think that this is a great sale game. If you're like, man, I got a bunch of time on my hands and I just sort of want to like stay up late and play a really fun video game, Rise of the Ronin,
story,
it's great.
Whatever. Yeah. A lot of characters thrown your way. I couldn't tell you anything about any of them.
I couldn't name a single character in that game. And like I really do think though that Rise of the Ronin is a rock solid time.
The wrong pick, but I'm fine with it.
I'm gonna. Do I go with another sports game because I kind of want to do that, or do I go with a different sports game? I have 2 sports games. I'm gonna go with Rematch. Rematch is such a fun time, dude.
That's what I wanted.
Yeah, like. Fifu, are you kidding me? Like it's FIFA, it's in Sifu, they had a baby. Like it was so much fun last year. And do I think that this game is great? No. If you're running alongside the wall, sometimes you like see outside the map early on. Like it's like, okay, like this isn't like the best game ever. It's not great. And the second that you realize that if you just go in it shoot the shot over the goalie's head so they dive one way and then let it bounce back off and then go and just kick it again, you can break the game pretty easily. But me, Connor, and Brady, we had the time of our life playing that last summer. So what fun. A great summer video game, dude. I'm very excited for to figure out what the summer video game is going to be for you, me, and Brady. And I Brady got it, Forza Horizon 6, but I feel like I'm going to lose on that one. But yeah, I have a large board left.
In kind of a similar vein to Rematch, same time period, Peak.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of a nonsense game.
I would
friend slop,
I'm closer to an 8 out of 10.
It's hilarious.
Peak, yeah.
It's not very deep, but it's fun.
I have a large board left. Can I run through these?
Yeah, hit me.
Switch Sports was the closest one. I think that game's like a 6.5 or a 7. I remember I got a text from my buddy recently who I did content with back in college, and he's like, Nick, I'm pretty miserable at work right now, but I'll never be as miserable as I was when you and I were playing Switch Sports at 5:30 in the morning in your bedroom, which had no AC. Like it was awful.
Just sweating it out.
But we had the time of our lives. I've sent Connor and Brady a video. There's a great video of me, my roommate Chase, my roommate Jake, playing Switch Sports on my roommate Chase's 21st birthday. We had some beverages earlier. Me and Jake are both in our underwear, just slamming badmintons, dude. Like having the best time of our lives. I love that game. But a couple of games that are way higher on Metacritic, I didn't really want to choose for this draft. Gears of War, one of my favorite 7 out of 10s. I really like Gears of War at this point. Life is Strange is another one. 7 out of 10 game for me. It's higher on Metacritic. I like that game quite a bit, though.
I tend to refrain from games that were well beloved, and I'm just the odd man out.
Yeah.
I have Silent Hill F as my first game on here, but like that game has like an 86 on Metacritic, which I cannot understand. But it has a really great story, really cool atmosphere, interesting setting for the Silent Hill franchise. I just think the combat in that game is so bad.
Shout out to Firewatch, The Plucky Squire, South of Midnight, which I have well above a 7. So I didn't want to put it on there, but it's in Metacritic that would qualify. Shout out to Keeper from last year. If you're looking for like a good little Game Pass game, beat it in one night sort of deal, Double Fine still has the sauce in with something creative with Keeper.
Gonna butt in here. My last one is Untitled Goose Game. It's a 7. It's a good game.
I mean, it won like a BAFTA or something.
Yeah, one game of the year, I think, for one of those shows.
Maybe DICE. I think it won DICE Game of the Year, Connor. And you gave it a 7 out of 10. Yeah. You left it out to dry. It is what it is.
All right. This show is made possible by all our lovely supporters over on Patreon. If you support us at the highest tier, you get your name read at the end of each and every episode. Members like Sarah Doman.
S. Mantix.
My name, Tanji. My man, Tanji, sorry.
My name is Dom.
Schmung Dingle.
The Scooby-Doo Running Sound.
Brew Talc.
Chad Chidington III.
Roland K.
Funny Hooligan.
40.
Awesome Mo.
G-Town.
Humunga Dunga.
Night Echoes.
Caleb Beef.
Zodiac.
Silent Hills X.
Cash R.
Jakey P.
Pigeon Power.
Tyler.
Sir Shellis.
Raincoat.
Choosar.
Am I reading? No, that is made Patreon names. Cool. You said Choosar. Mr. Munchies.
Malcolm the Dog.
Farmer Spud.
Rocket Tater.
Nofi.
The Dankest Mike.
Swampy Bits.
Tristan C.
Sconesy C.
Killer Cheese.
Aloha Alley.
Scooterman.
Centuro.
Hook'em Horns.
DJ Carlos.
Neutral Sphere.
Eli the Unusual.
The Neutron Style.
Easton C.
Kingdom Hearts Rules.
Crispy.
DJ Zach B.
Uli.
Jacob D.
Alec IB.
Big Mac.
Metal Nate.
The Patty Cake.
Metal Core Cowboy.
Mega.
Yogi.
Dom.
Hold'em.
Brock.
Voodoo.
Milky Sins.
Reggie Ranks.
Alex the Golden.
Andrew H.
Master Diz.
Cannon Potter Games.
Only One Rufus.
And Kingdom Hearts Sucks.
Thank you for joining us on this episode. We'll see you on the next one. Peace out.